Welcome to the Garage Audit. I'm Ivan. Today we're in Lebanon, Illinois, and we're going to meet Mason with Vida Auto Spa. Let's go check out his shop. Let's go into Mason's shop. Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Here's a microphone for you.
Awesome, appreciate it. Welcome to my bare bones shop.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna open the door so we got some inventory right here.
So, Vida Auto Spa,
Correct.
right?
That's me.
Good. So, living the good life auto spa?
Living the good life auto spa. That's very right, yes.
Yeah.
So
Perfect. So, obviously a shared shop unless you're into equipment here?
no, I am not. You know, we kind of talked about this earlier, but I was running a bigger bay over there.
Yeah.
It was just kind of getting a little bit taxing on the price and whatnot, and also the space. Couldn't really use it all. It was nice for RVs, but we don't do
Right.
enough, and boats and stuff like that. But for when I do boats and RVs, I'll just put them in the parking lot. My landlord worked with me. He said, "Hey, I got enough space for you. We can cut it down, take a little off the top if you just detail
Right.
the cars and stuff like that," which we've been doing anyway. But he's got a lot more cars now. His kids have cars now, so detailing a few more a month for him, it's kind of helping out. So
Excellent.
I moved here. This is really all I need,
Yeah.
and a stoplight over there, and that's about it. So
Yeah. So,
you know.
you've got air compressor.
Yep. So air compressor, that's for interiors. I don't do a ton of interiors. I am mostly a paint correction and ceramic coating guy.
Yep.
The other shop that you had worked with in the past, A&G Auto Spa, they actually do my PPF and window tint for me.
Okay, good.
So Drew, shout out to Drew.
Yeah.
And Nick Book, we're at A&G. They will come and pick up the cars for me, or I drive them over there, and then they do the PPF and window tint. Since there's really no one around here who can do it.
Good.
On this side, obviously there's a population difference between the Illinois side of St. Louis
Yeah.
versus the St. Louis side of St. Louis.
Right.
So I just take it up there to them. I have a good relationship with them. You know, I've known Nick for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yep.
So he does all that. So as far as interiors go, I don't do a ton of interiors. So that's great for blowing out pads, blowing out cars, cracks and stuff like that. That's really all I use it
Yeah.
for.
Good.
And like I had mentioned before, a lot of my stuff that I usually have here, some extra like drills and polishers and stuff like that, pads and whatnot, that's all at my dad's house.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm doing stuff on his car right now. It hasn't been detailed in like since he bought it.
Okay.
So we're doing a 2-step, and we're gonna go ahead and coat it, and then it needs like a full interior workup. So
Okay.
yeah.
And then back here is your product shelf.
Yeah, product shelf. So I don't know if you want to run through my products. They're definitely nothing fascinating. Like I said, I kind of keep it pretty bare bones. I
Yeah.
don't really find the need to overcomplicate the process, and I know you kind of have the same philosophy.
Yes.
Using, you know, one product. You know, the
Yeah.
gallon on the right there, we're all very familiar with.
Yeah.
So I kind of use that like when I do my express details for my maintenance coating
Good.
clients.
Yeah.
I just go ahead and wipe down the interior with a rag soaked in O&R. So,
Yeah. Perfect.
And that works just fine. And then Power Clean for like the deeper stuff.
Yeah.
I run Dark Fury for wheels and bugs. Formula 4 spray wax for uncoated cars, washing in the summer, wheel acid, detail spray. And that's really about it, man.
Yeah.
So there's
Excellent.
some other stuff. I usually have a bunch of gallons over there, like the tire shines and some other cleaners and whatnot, like the other like industrial cleaners and stuff from Superior.
Yeah.
And that's really about it. So
Good.
yeah, and there's my compounds up there. I mostly run Obert Cut
Yep.
on the rotary with a microfiber wool pad, and then I finish out with the DA. So
Perfect.
the big rotary guy.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, I know you are too. So
Yeah. I finish with them. I don't cut with them.
yeah, I cut with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I do most of the cutting with my my rotary, especially like after we do a wet sanding job.
Yeah.
That's when I will cut with the rotary or with like a wool, like 4-ply
Yep.
bonnet.
Yeah.
And none of them are here. They were there with the
Yeah.
Chrysler.
Not a problem.
And then the other Rupes that I have is right there. So
Yeah.
I've been running that DeWalt for like 5 years.
Yeah. They're a solid machine.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Yeah.
They'll make your forearms huge.
Yeah.
But they're heavy, but they're workhorses. They
Yeah.
do just fine. So.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's pretty much about it, man. So I've got some of this stuff over here. It's just random things like sandpaper, old pads,
Yeah.
foam interfaces. But yeah, this is where I do most of my paint corrections. I turn off the lights, turn on that big spotlight,
Okay.
and I just get to work, man.
Okay, so you do the spotlight style.
Yeah, I do spotlight. I'll do like indirect light too. Sometimes on like white cars, I'll actually point the light at the wall. And
Yeah.
That kind of helps me see a little bit better, especially when I'm coding. I just saw your reel where you were using a light on like a whiteboard.
Yeah.
So I do that too look for high spots.
Right.
And I actually found that out by accident because I just had it pointing at the wall, and I was like, wow, I can see everything a lot more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, more light is better, but sometimes that little indirect light does a really good job.
Yeah, it does. And I don't always, use a big spotlight. Sometimes I'll use these little lights on the side over here, and then change the color temperature depending on the color I'm working on.
Yeah.
I don't chase perfection. I know a lot of people talk about that. I think you've talked about this too.
Yeah, your customers never see it anyways.
No, yeah, and everyone likes to act like on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok that they're like knocking out these crazy corrections, they're chasing perfection.
Yeah.
In a shop setting, when you're trying to make money, feed 2 kids, a dog,
Yeah.
pay the rent, buy a car, not lose your house.
Yeah.
You kind of need to get cars in and get them out. So the majority of my business is like a one-step, code it and get it out.
Yeah, perfect.
98% of people who call me are happy with it.
Yeah.
I've priced myself for people to have the willingness and ability to appreciate what I do.
Yes.
But even then, 9 times out of 10, new cars, one pad, one color pad, a polish, get in and get it out.
Yeah. No, and that's a great way of doing it. Customers don't see what we see.
Yeah.
And trying to satisfy the people on Facebook and Instagram and all that, they're not your customers. They're not the ones coming handing you their money. So
yeah, and that's I'm sure you see me. I don't know if you do or not. I know you're a busy guy, but I'm on the forums all day trying to help people out because I know what it's like being clueless.
Yeah.
And not having a lot of help. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I much like yourself, like to pass it on to people so they don't have to make the same mistakes I did.
Yes.
I think that's very part of the human experience. It's just something I like to do.
Yeah. So do I.
So I try that. But as far as making the Instagram reels, like today I'm detailing a $100,000 BMW M3.
Yeah. No.
I don't give a shit. So,
Yeah.
I don't make content for my clients per se because the people who are watching those are not my clients. So
No.
I just word of mouth, do good work, and it comes back to me. I don't run any Facebook ads, Google ads, nothing like that. Yeah.
Excellent.
So,
and you've got enough work to keep you
I
going?
have enough work to keep me busy. I'm not vacationing in Cabo. I'm not driving around in like 4 different cars.
No. Not yet.
But I live a modest life. I like my time with my family, and I get to go home every day by 5 o'clock.
Perfect.
And I'm going to California in 2 weeks, and then after that I'll be going to Texas.
Yep.
No one can tell me no, so I get to go, and it's afforded me the lifestyle that I like. So
Excellent.
it works out.
Yeah. So being a shared shop, you have constraints.
Yeah.
They obviously, so your landlord keeps his spare equipment in here, basically.
Yeah, this is just honestly his stuff that I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
the stuff that he doesn't use on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm not sure what a plastering company has to do with a flatbed dump or a dump truck like this, but
yeah,
hey,
you never know. Well, they're taking out old plaster lath and taking it to the dump. So
yeah, sure, that's probably right.
Yeah,
but there are some challenges with it. It's definitely not pretty. Sometimes with clients when they pull up and they don't really know me or they just kind of found me on or on Google. That's where I really get a lot of it. Sometimes you can see there's some hesitancy with it, but 9 times out of 10, if they find me, I send it on my Facebook, my portfolio.
Right.
They see it, and then usually you're going to have to go into St. Charles County or deep St. Louis County to get something like this at all. Or you're going to have to find like a kid who's doing it in their garage for fun, which, nothing wrong, but, if you want professional and want it done right, nothing wrong with a 17-year-old. I was 17, 18 once doing this too, but, it's a little bit different. So.
Right. A few things that you could maybe improve. I know it's a shared shop, so it's sort of difficult.
Yeah.
But a bit of white paint on this wall would do some wonders. Maybe some more lighting. But with the garage door, you've got actually fairly good light. But in the winter, that's not a convenient thing to do.
No, not at all.
No.
So in the winter, I'm cold and shivering, and in the summer, I am hot and tan. So
okay.
Yeah, hot as in like sweaty. Not, hot. But so this just got put up.
Okay.
This is less than a month old.
Okay.
So like I said, I was over there. It wasn't really pretty over there, but I had the lights put up just for like floodlights, working on interiors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I do agree. It is a little lacking. It doesn't look that great. I kind of am a little self-conscious about it right now. And but you know, we'll roll with the punches on it. So.
Yeah, and as long as your customers are happy as they're driving away,
Yep.
that's all that really matters.
Yeah. So, and I will say I get a lot of returning clients. I just had a guy, I coated his car 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He bought a Model Y Juniper Performance.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Dropped the car off, put the key in the box over there. We went and PPF'd and tinted it with A&G.
Yeah.
Drove it there, drove it back, coated it. He was super happy. So,
Excellent.
you know, no questions and stuff like that. And
Perfect.
I work with like the local police departments. I've done work for Cracker Barrel. And
Yeah.
they really don't have an issue with it. So
No.
yeah.
No. And as long as you can fit the vehicles in,
Yeah.
then the space is nice and clean, which
Yeah.
is good. You know, you don't have stuff laying everywhere. I know that's not yours.
Yeah.
But you've sort of limited off with the
Yeah,
space there.
I
So
tried. I organized it. This is not my stuff, and a lot of this is just random stuff he doesn't have anywhere to put.
yeah.
So like it's like, you know, wooden sawhorses and
Yeah.
just crazy stuff like that. Also these things here, I don't even know what this is, but
That's the shelving unit.
yeah, it's ugly and annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna definitely clean it up. I have some of these IGL and System X banners. I'm not really with System X anymore, but it looks good on the wall. People are familiar with it. So
Yeah.
I'll get a DIY banner one of these days.
One day. We
And,
don't have them yet, so yeah.
One of those days when they come around. So I plan to decorate a little bit, and with the business license and like LLC paperwork, I'm gonna put it up there just for like pictures and
Right.
stuff like that. So, but yeah, most of my pictures are taken outside in good lighting in the sun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen my Instagram, but I've been curating it to have a certain image when you look at it.
Yes.
So all of my cars, I can show the camera. So when I post all my cars, they're all facing the same way.
Yeah.
And they kind of have the same thing. And I'm not
Perfect.
a photographer, but I just try to get good, high quality pictures.
Yeah.
Most people don't care about up close. I get one up close for the people who are looking for that.
Yeah.
And then in the direct sun, so no one can yell at me like, "Hey, you're not showing it in the sun."
Yeah.
Black Suburban, right in the sun.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, and I can show the camera. So when I post my stuff on
You
this.
can put the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We'll add the link.
So that's how I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll add a link. We'll add a link to Mason's, of course, his YouTube, or not. We'll add a link to his Instagram, his Facebook page for his business, Google page, etc.
Yes.
So if you're in the Lebanon, Illinois area, very close to St. Louis,
Yeah.
come have a gander and see what he can do for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, great shop.
Thank you.
It's not all about being pretty. It's not it's not all about being pretty. It's not all about being super high tech.
Yeah.
You have everything you need, nothing extra.
Yeah.
And like I say, the floor is clean, the walls are clean.
Yeah.
Customers can realize it's not your stuff.
Yeah.
And if someone complains, very easy to say, look, if I was charging you twice the price, I could have my own unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that too, and like, to be honest here, there is very limited shop space. So
Yes. Yeah, and this is a new building, so.
yeah, newer. From what I understand, it was older. It fell down. Josh bought it and built it back up. And
Okay.
people are very impressed and happy with it. The city of Lebanon's happy with it because it's not an eyesore anymore.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm very bare bones, like you said. I had a lot of anxiety with COVID. Not anxiety, like,
Yeah.
But just like what was going to happen. What does this mean for me? I almost went into policing.
Yeah.
A couple times just because it was a good job and, benefits and pension and stuff like that.
Right.
And I almost gave this up. I'm glad I didn't. But a lot of this stems from the fact that I was like, I don't know if this is going to all go up in smoke one day. So I just kind of keep it bare bones, and I really haven't had a desire to do much more than that. So
No.
it's worked out. The hex lights are cool. The switch tracks on the floor
Yeah.
are cool. The DI system with all the
Yeah.
connections and deionized water is cool.
Yeah.
But this works for me, man. Like I said, I do mostly corrections and ceramic coating. So really,
Yeah.
all I need is polishers, compounds, and a light.
Yeah.
That's it. So.
Excellent. One thing I haven't seen is a hose.
Yeah, so we have a water spigot out in the parking lot. We can cut to that later. But I do have a water spigot out there. We do have electricity, so there's actually quite a bit. There's hookups there, there's back. I actually have a security camera in the back. And we have more over there for charging all this stuff. But there's plenty of water. I have an on-site bathroom. I don't have HVAC.
Yeah.
So that part sucks. But I do have water. I do have electricity.
Okay.
And
City water, well water?
city water, they drew out a line to the main line, connected it, so the water here is okay. I wouldn't say great. That's why I use a lot of rinseless, and sometimes for the uncoated cars, I really have to use the spray waxes as a final thing to kind of just alleviate some of that water spotting that we get.
Yeah.
I was on well water before, so I'm pretty well versed with how to deal with this.
Yes.
But, you know, last shot was on well water. It was pretty terrible. Like I pretty much had to wash cars either inside at night or like in the sun or at all when it was hot. It just was a no-go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the water here. I can't really complain. So, but yeah, I know it's super weird, but I roll it out there and I just run the extension cord and I just wash out there.
Yep.
And then it all just runs down and I just bring it all back in. So
good.
I do all the wheels and stuff out there. If it's a maintenance client and everything's coated and it's not too dirty, right out of your book, I just go ahead and
Rinseless.
rinseless, DIY. You know, if it's really dirty, I'll just spray it down, pressure wash it off, and I'll bring it in here and I just do the entire thing with rinseless. Wheels, tires, interior, and outside. So, like I told you, I like using it as least as possible. A glass cleaner, I have it. But I use just rinseless for literally everything.
Yeah.
When it's called for.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
but yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ivan. It was good seeing you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Links will be down below, and let's go into the bus for the final report card.
Awesome. There we go.
Good. That was a great visit with Mason. He has a very bare-bones shop, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're worried about you need to have all this fancy stuff, you can see that he does it with very basic tools. He's been doing it for years, and he's making a living. He picks up his kids every day at 3:45. That, to me, is a really good objective to have in life. Now, if you'd like to see what Mason does, links down below to his Instagram and all his social media. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to the House of Rags and come visit us with the next garage audit. And you never know, you could have a bus pulling into your place.